today's video, we're going to be checking out the Diamond Select DC Comics Vinimate's Batman vinyl figure. To find out how tall Batman is, let's take the tape measure. We'll put it maybe to the top of his ears. That would tell us that the figure is roughly about 4¼ inches in height. Granted, yes, he does also have his Batarang, which would take the figure closer to about 4¾ of an inch tall. What we can also do too is move Batman over and bring in the Harley Quinn that we also had a look at in a recent video review. You can see that they're roughly about the same height. Batman, of course, is slightly leaning forward, lunging forward, so he comes across a little bit shorter than Harley Quinn. But proportionally, they are roughly about the same sort of height. They are also pre-posed, as I mentioned in the Harley Quinn review, and I really do like these a lot. These could be my new 2018 favorite collectible. I do like the fact that they are pre-posed, granted, yes, but they're taking the elements that I really like so much about the Mini-Mates and elevating them now to a collectible vinyl statue. Now, I thought Harley Quinn may have had a ball joint in her head where you can actually move her head up and down. It turns out that not be the case. Batman also doesn't seem like he has head articulation, and I'm certain that some of these pieces did have articulation in the head. Now, granted, Batman doesn't seem to be the case, nor does Harley Quinn, so I guess it may vary from Vinimate to Vinimate. Unless I'm crazy, I was certain that they had head articulation. Anyways, let's move Harley Quinn out of the way, as we've already had a look at her. Batman here is dressed in his new DC Comics Rebirth outfit. So, of course, he's got some slight variations to things such as his utility belt, more importantly, his bat emblem, and I suppose to some extent also the purple on the interior of his cape, which is new design elements to his new costume. His face is really good, actually. Now, he does have a nose. That's technically not the case. It's really the nose in his cowl, but to some extent, he does have a nose. The panel lining in his mouth, as well as the little lines around his chin and cheek area, are nice little touches. As well, despite the fact that he is wearing a black cowl, you can still see, or hopefully can still see, dark areas around his eyes and panel lining above the bridge of his nose and the sides of his eyebrows. Equally so, Batman has some nice panel lining here in his torso, showcasing a very muscular bat chest, and the new bat emblem with the yellow outline around the bat. Nice touches there. Utility belt looks good. He's got some elevated areas in his legs, which he didn't have in before. Although, the Rebirth Batman kind of carried a little bit over from 52, in the sense that he has a little bit of these little armor plates here and there. Again, the pose that I can only describe as he's slightly leaning back, about to throw his little Batarang, which comes molded to his hand. You can't remove it. If this was, say, a Mini-Mate, for example, you'd be able to take out the accessories, attach them to the clamped hands. But in the instance here of the Vinimate, they are pre-posed figures. Really loving the design elements here of Batman. He's got the great color choices, the palette of the grays, of course, the blacks in the boots, the gloves, and the head. But specifically with the Rebirth, brings the new element of the purple on the interior of the cape. And I think all of that comes together quite nicely. Spin around the little figurine of Batman here. You've got the sculpting of his cape with the individual little creases there. I like that. That's a nice touch. And just in case you're wondering, there is the underside of Batman's feet. Now, these are fairly common to be able to pick up at Toys R Us, for example. Comic book stores are probably your best bet to find these. But you can also pick these up in US Walgreens, too, which is something that here in Canada, we do not have the graced pleasure to shop through a Walgreens. I hear it's just a treasure trove of very cool collectibles and exclusives. Unfortunately, here Canada doesn't have that, but we kind of have the equivalent of that with a place called EB Games, which is, I guess, the Canadian version of GameStop. They stock a lot of the Walgreens exclusives. So that's how sometimes I've been able to pick up Walgreens exclusives in the past. This guy necessarily isn't a case of being an exclusive, but Walgreens is probably one of the places that you can get them as well, should you wish to pick them up. A quick run through though, no articulation in the head, no articulation in the arms, no articulation in the legs. Essentially why you are picking these up is because they're just fun little collectibles. In this instance, a collectible of the Caped Crusader. Personally, I hope that Diamond Select continues to run with this brand of products. I really do like the Vinimates. They're taking versions of Minimates, which I always really was a big fan of Minimates, and elevating to a little bit larger stature. They're removing the articulation in favor of super pre-posed sculpts, and I think it works quite well using that blocky nature of a Minimate. Batman here looks exceptionally nice, especially, and I think one of the elements that makes this Batman shine so well is the fact that the grays and the blacks are backdropped by the purple in the cape. That metallic purple in the cape really pops on this particular figure. And already he's a really nice collectible, but I just really like all the elements put together, taking his rebirth costume and essentially making it into a Vinimate figure. This is also something I mentioned with the review of Harley Quinn, that one thing I like about the Vinimates is the fact that going into a comic book store, you do get exhausted. I know I feel exhausted coming into the stores and always seeing the same sort of just saturation when it comes to like the pop vinyl figures from the folks over at Funko. This is a nice alternative. So if you are looking in the market of picking up, say for example, a DC Comics character, maybe overlook the pop vinyl figures, for example, and head over to the area that have the Vinimates. I think you'll be impressed with some of the stuff that Diamond Select are churning out for 2018. Today, though, we were having a look at the Diamond Select. This was the Vinimates Batman vinyl figure. If you guys haven't had a chance already to maybe check out some of my previous reviews on Vinimates, don't worry. I've got a playlist on the channel designated solely to Vinimates. I've had a look at the X-Files, for example. We also had a look at some of the Christmas ones during the Christmas spots. We had a look at the Nightmare Before Christmas, and hope to do a whole bunch of these in future videos as well. If you guys also haven't had a chance to hit that little subscribe button down below, don't put off tomorrow, or don't put off till tomorrow what you can accomplish today. Hit that little subscribe button, and you'll never miss a beat when it comes to future videos. As always, guys, thanks for watching as you always do. I'll see you next time.